Good morning, Ms. Simmons. Can you hear me okay, Mr. Simmons?
Yes, sir. I can hear you.
Good, good, good. Thank you so much. We're gonna give a few more minutes to get this going. There are people coming in as we get prepared for our Waycross-Ware County Chamber of Commerce Facebook live forum this morning. Today is Thursday, May the 7th. This morning we will have the Ware County Commission chairman candidates and Ware County Commission District 4 candidates on this morning. This stream will be going approximately from about right where we are now to till probably close to about 11:30ish, maybe close to 12. After it's all over, probably try to get you back on for a moment just to let us know about what's going to happen tomorrow. But as we get people in, the forum actually starts at 9 o'clock. But like I said, again, good morning, Mr. Simmons. I appreciate you letting us be a part of the forum this morning. Actually, just tell us kind of exactly what's going on this morning. What's your thought behind why you decided to go ahead and do this?
Okay. So, of course, with the coronavirus and the social distancing policies that we know we couldn't have our traditional forum. So we wanted to figure out a way to get the candidates before the public so they can make an informed decision before the early voting starts, even though absentee has already started. But early voting, I think, starts either next week or the week after. Then, of course, the election is June 9th. So we wanted to get the candidates before the audience, give the audience time to, hear the candidates, some of the things they had to say. You just get a better idea of who they want to vote for.
Got you. Now, real quick, tell us exactly what it is. I guess who you are. What exactly you do over at the chamber, and what is the chamber?
Okay, so I am the chairman of the board for the Chamber of Commerce. My real job is the executive director for the Waycross Tourism Bureau. So that's my full-time job. But my chamber duties are volunteer. So the chamber is just an advocate for the businesses in the area. We try to work with our local members and our businesses to, advocate for things they need, provide them with some training, some resources that, so they would have a voice in the community and also with the local governmental officials.
Got you.
As well as state officials.
Got you. Now, and how long have you been in your role with the chamber, and how many people make up the board?
So our board consists of about 25 people. A good 20 of them are elected, and the other ones are by virtue of their office. I've been chairman now for almost 2 years, and this is my last term as chairman. And then I will remain on the board for an additional year as the outgoing chairman.
Got you. Very important information. Thank you. I'm glad that there is a chamber. People don't understand how important chamber can be for a community. Business community sometimes don't want to be involved in chamber, but they don't realize that the chamber is truly the advocate that is able to handle those government affairs for the community at large. So much bigger than just that, that business or just that building that you're in. It's a chamber of commerce. That's you control. You have to for a county that size, you have to a lot that you have to maintain, and I'm sure that the community this is going to be great for them to get information out there. Look, the mayor's making a comment. Thank you so much, Mayor, for joining us this morning. I appreciate you. Appreciate everything that you do down there in the big city of Waycross. But now you. It's not just you though. I know you're the chairman, but now you have someone that works with you in that kind of is their daily day.
Right. Paige Taylor is the membership manager. She's here today. She actually is the one that goes out and talk to the members to hear their issues and things like that, so she can bring it back to the board, so the board can make some decisions and policies that will help the community. So she's that wheel to the ground every day.
Got you.
And she does a great job. We really appreciate what Paige does. I'd also like to say real quick too, I want to say thank you to the Governmental Affairs Committee. They worked very hard to put this on. This wasn't just myself and Paige. That's Barry, Casey, John, and Tina. They worked very hard to put this on today. And also we have some other things as some of the restriction starts to lift that we can start working on with our local and our state elected officials to keep the people informed.
Listen, that's very, very important. Thank you to that committee. That committee, you don't understand. Like I said, people just think they just see Chamber of Commerce. You just want money to be a member. No, no, no. It's so many other things that go on, just like this. Making sure
Right.
you have the right candidates in place in the midst of everything that we have going on with the coronavirus and with this COVID-19. Is having someone that can be an advocate for either businesses opening, businesses not opening. How can we get help? Chamber of Commerce was such a advocate in reference to the CARES Act, trying to get some of these businesses money. It was a combination of them coming together to just let some of these small businesses be able to get not I would say not necessarily get money, but get money that was their money. They have put money back into the community, so now they get some money back to help in the midst of everything that was going on. But now. I don't know if this is something that you would speak to. Maybe there's somebody that's watching that's interested about Chambers of Commerce. Somebody how can someone become a member, or what does that take? Is that something that you would cover, or something that Paige is going to cover for us this morning?
Paige can cover that for us,
Great.
but I will just say real quickly, they can definitely go to our website and look at that, or either call the chamber office. We are starting to, of course, we were closed for a little while with restrictions, so we're opening up on a limited basis. But they can definitely give us a call, and Paige would be happy to either send them some information or bring them some information, just depending on the guidelines that they're following at that business at right now.
All right. Well, thank you so much. Is Miss Paige going to come in and join us this morning?
Yes, I'm gonna get Paige right now.
All right. All right.
All right.
As he transitioned to get Paige in. I appreciate all the comments. Thank you so much for joining us this morning. And as Miss Paige gets in, let's see if I can get her. Let me see if I can get her on here as she checks her hair a couple of times. All right, here we go. Good morning.
Good morning.
Listen, thank you so much for joining us, and thank you so much for working very hard to get this put on. A lot of people don't realize yesterday it was a bit of a task for us to get going and started, but thank you so much for working so hard. But now give me a little background in reference to the chamber, what you do, and how someone can really get involved and how helpful it is for our community.
Yes, absolutely. My name is Paige Taylor, and I am the membership manager here at the Waycross-Ware County Chamber of Commerce. I'm working on my second year here. There's many ways you can get involved with the chamber. We have an ambassadors program. If you aren't able to get on the board, we do have an ambassadors program, and they are strictly volunteers, and they go out in the community and help me recruit members. They help me with events and things like that. So if you want to get involved that way, you can become a chamber ambassador. If you want to get extra involved, you can be nominated to become a board member. And that's just a step up from an ambassador. We currently have 29 board members. Half of them are elected, and half of them are by virtue of office, like our chairman and our mayor and our development authorities and things like that. But as a business perspective, if you want to join the chamber, we help you. We advocate for you. We put on events to help you with networking, to get your word out, just to let people know that you're here and to come see you and things like that.
Well, I appreciate that. Now let me ask you this. And now I know in some places the chambers help with businesses that decide they want to join or want to open up. Do you have processes in place? Do y'all have like ribbon cuttings, and do y'all do some of these things that kind of excite what's going on in the community?
Yes, absolutely. So we do whenever you join whatever tier level, you do get a ribbon cutting and grand opening, and that's one of the most popular things why people join, because they want to get the word out and let people know they are here. But if you're starting from scratch and you want to open a business, we have a small business development center located in Brunswick that we are partnered with, and they help you step by step on how to open a business. If you have any questions, they are there, and they are a free resource as well.
Great. So you're telling me that there are free resources in place that can even help me prior to me joining the chamber, just to kind of give me an idea of what the chamber can do and what all goes on. But one thing for sure is that you promote the interest of local businesses, talk about the possibilities of what can be there, and I guess not legislate but advocate for businesses to the local I guess local delegation. Now, do y'all have any great things coming up soon? Besides, now this forum is great, but what other things are possible are coming up?
We have a lot planned, but due to the COVID, we have put everything on hold. So we are just playing it day by day, just to see. We usually have monthly Rise and Shines, which are networking events. So hopefully we can have our next Rise and Shine next month. If not, we will move forward to the next month. But we also have like a Taste of the Chamber coming up in October, which is a big event that we help promote our local restaurants. They provide samples. The whole community is invited, and that's one of our bigger events that we host.
Got you. Now, when is the next? Excuse me. How can someone get to you? What's a phone number or something they can use to be able to contact you?
Yes, our office number is 912-283-3742, and that goes straight to my cell phone. So I always have it with me. I'm always answering the phone calls.
Give that to us one more time.
912-283-3742.
All right. So, anything else you want us to know before we get out of here? Before we start these candidates.
Yeah, I would just like to welcome everyone to our first Facebook Live forum, and we hope you enjoy.
Sounds good. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. Is Patrick still around? I want a couple more things with Patrick if he's still around.
Yes, absolutely. I'll go grab him.
All right.
Thank you.
As she's grabbing Patrick, and we get ready for it. Don't forget, this morning we have our chairman candidates and our District 4 candidates for the Ware County Commission. That's going to be this morning. That's going to start actually very, very shortly. We will be transitioning into that very, very shortly. I think we have Patrick back. Let me see if I can get Patrick back on here. Yeah, there he is, Patrick.
Yes,
real quick. I know that we have because of the different things we have going on with the COVID and all, a question popped up, and I know the mayor said something about this last week to me, and he's an advocate for small businesses, and you are as well, trying to bring business and things into the community. Is there anything possible within maybe the next week or so that if we are not necessarily back open, but is there a way that we can maybe do a webinar online? This is a question that came up. Is it a webinar that can be done online by the chamber, maybe to tell small businesses where we are, how they can maybe get some help moving forward?
Sure. And that's actually one of the things that the board is thinking about doing, some ways to get some information before. So yeah, we can definitely do that.
Got you.
Look at some ways of getting them informed, because I totally understand that it's a very confusing time. I can't imagine a small business or even a business period, and then having to try to bring your employees back. And then the employees are nervous, the business owners are nervous, so everybody's nervous right now. So we recognize that as a chamber, and we're looking at ways of doing, getting some resources out before the members in the community.
Got you. Now, I want you to understand this very important reason, another reason why you should consider doing something like the chamber. In situations like this, the chamber can be a great resource when you are a member to tell you how to open back up, when to open back up. And now you don't have to be a member for that, but when you are a member, there are certain other resources that are available to you, because you can have you know people because you are a member of the chamber, so you know who has a cleaning service who may be able to help you get back into things. But real quick, and you got about a minute or a minute and a half. One last thing before we get into this candidates forum. Anything else you want to express or talk about why it's so important to have this type of networking in reference to the chamber?
Well, again, it kind of reflects back to what you just said. The larger our membership, and not just the local chamber, but your local chambers, the local chambers around the state, it's a network. It allows that business owner who has to be at the office 8 hours every day or 40 hours a week, and he can't attend certain things, to have a voice or representation amongst the local leaders and the state leaders. And that's what we're really working very hard to do for our members, is to be more engaged with our local leaders and our state leaders. So as things happen, that we can be an advocate for them. We have a very good relationship with the Georgia Chamber, and we're working to strengthen that. So as things start happening around the state, we want our chamber, our local chamber, to be some of the first or one of the first chambers to know about it, so we can share the information with our local membership. So our membership is very important. A lot of people think the chamber is funded through, state or local money. All of our money comes from the membership. So the stronger our membership is, the stronger we are. And we just want everybody, we try to be very good stewards of the money. The staff is limited, and we use most of our resources to give back to things such as the forums and our legislative luncheons and our annual banquet for our members. We're just working on more programming for our members throughout the year. We had a really robust program of work for 2020, and then the coronavirus happened, and then we had to postpone all of that. But we're hoping as soon as things start opening back up, we can start doing some of those things. We're very excited about our Young Professionals Network that we're looking to get going. As soon as those large gatherings restrictions are lifted, that we can start doing that and start training our future workforce for positions of leadership and positions of leadership in their respective companies.
Gotcha. And I want you to understand what's going on here. It's very important that it's not just about watching or listening to, but it's about being a member, because then you have the ability to have a voice when you wouldn't necessarily have a voice. It's hard to be a single, it's hard to be an island by yourself as a business when you have someone like a chamber in your community that does a great job, like here in Ware County, in Waycross-Ware County, where you have people who are advocating for you on your behalf constantly. Even when you're sleeping, they're advocating. They're working hard behind the scenes, getting things done. So, Patrick, I just thank you so much for that. As we're going to get Patrick back out of here, give us a few moments to get set up for our forum. We are going to get this going. Patrick's going to get those candidates moved in swiftly. He's going to get those candidates moved in. We have a great lineup today, actually. If you go look above this post, you should see quite a few names that are going to be a part of our forum today. Matter of fact, I'm going to work on getting that pulled up as we speak so you can see it yourself. There are quite a few candidates today. If you have not seen the list, check it out. Make sure you share this. Please take a moment and share this post on your Facebook feed. Let people know that the candidate forum is going on right now as we speak. The Waycross-Ware County Chamber Forum is going on today as we speak. Matter of fact, let me get this up so you can get a chance to kind of see where we are with this. We'll use this one right here. Here we go. In today's forum, if you get a chance, you can see that this morning we will have at 9 to 9:25, we will have Carl Sears. At 9:30, we will have Freddie Smith. And at 10 o'clock, we'll have Elmer Thrift. And then at 10:30, we'll have Steve Bernard. And at 11 o'clock, we will have Jimmy Carter. The Steve Bernard and Jimmy Carter are candidates for District 4, the Ware County Commission, and Carl Sears, Freddie Smith, and Elmer Thrift are candidates for the Ware County Commission chairman seat. That will be this morning. We are getting going. It's already live. If you haven't shared it yet, please take a moment and share it. Once again, I don't even know if I introduced myself this morning. My name is Michael Myers at Just Media Network. We are a TV network. Actually, we are a streaming network. We provide things like this, government affairs across the Southeast. And one of the things that we are doing right now, because of the coronavirus, is helping with these candidate forums and getting those types of things going and letting people know exactly what's happening as they continue to prepare Mr. Sears for his 9 o'clock. He has a few more minutes and we'll get going. Please take a moment to share where we are. Please share what's going on right now. This candidate forum is brought to you by the Waycross-Ware County Chamber of Commerce, Just Media, Artworks of Mustafa, Artworks of William Mustafa, as well as one of the sponsors for this event. We are getting ready to go live. I know we are a few minutes early. Gives us a chance to get people into the feed. If you are watching, please take a moment and share this link, share the feed. Let someone know that Mr. Sears is on. He is getting ready to go live. He is backstage right now. Mr. Sears, if you can hear me, we are getting ready to get you in here. So as you prepare, there we go. As we get prepared for this 9 o'clock start, hold on one moment. There we go. There we go. Good morning. Good morning.
Good morning, sir. How are you?
Wonderful. You got a couple more minutes before we actually get started. I just wanted to give you the update, let you know that we are about 1 minute, 2 minutes out as people continue to share and get started. This is a 9 o'clock start, and just give us a few more moments. I'm going to pull out, just to let everybody know we're getting ready to get going. All right, just give me one more moment. All right.
Okay. I'll have a son.
Here we go. Here we go. Good morning. Good morning again, Mr. Sears. How are you this morning?
Fine. How are you doing?
Wonderful, wonderful. As we get started on this candidate forum, you are actually running for chairman of the Ware County Commission. Give us a little background about who you are.
All right. My name is Carl Sears. Some people call me James, which is my first name. I was born in Bacon County, but I've lived all my life in Ware County. And that's pretty much it, except unless you like my work history and all that.
Whatever you would like to tell us.
Oh, okay. Well, I worked on a farm since I was probably about 5 years old until I got old enough to drive, and then I started working as a bag boy at Pick and Save, which no longer is in business. After that, I started working in the mobile home industry. I did that for several years. And the last place I was employed was, it was called Scalper Dryers then. It's now called Voith, where they make cloth for paper machines. After that, I was diagnosed with ulcerative colitis, which kind of is a disabling disease, but it's pretty much under control. And I've been farming for about the last 5 years.
Got you. Now, what made you decide to run for chairman?
I don't like some of the ways what I consider to be deceptive practices of getting people to vote for tax increases and things of that nature, where they promise one thing and they fail to deliver it. And I would just like a better place for, it's not too late for my children, but for my grandchildren to grow up in.
Got you. Now, real quick, I'm going to piggyback off of that question because, you made a comment in reference to the practices, but and speaking of practices, what role does the Ware County Commission play, do you believe, or what could play in industry recruitment? This is a chamber forum, so part of what we want to understand is businesses and understand your business practice or what you think would be a good practice in reference to that. So what role does the Ware County Commission play in industry recruitment? Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, Ware County plays in industry recruitment.
Recruitment.
Okay. Well, first of all, you'd have to work with the school system to make sure that your students are prepared to enter the workforce at any level. And well, increasing your image would help, making it more positive. And again, working with the school system, if a student, if they're interested in being in band or whatever, let's put a tuba in their hand, which again, that evolves back to the school system. But if they're particularly interested in science and things like that, we need to make sure that not just the schools, but the county itself invest money in things of a scientific nature.
Got you. Now, with that being said, and you brought up a very good comment in reference to getting with the schools and things like that. But how do you, or what do you propose we do to attract certain industries or attract industry to Waycross / Ware County? Give me your ideas in reference to that.
To attract industry, I just did.
Right. No, but I'm saying, how do you specifically attract them? My question is, what do you propose we do? I'm looking for some specifics in reference to
specific. Well, it will depend on what industry you're talking about. I would like to see more industry that, of a scientific nature, because I mean, you've got, right now you've got the president, they've got Space Force, Elon Musk, what's that called? SpaceX. They're doing all the work for NASA. So those are industries that I would like to see Ware County get involved in, because I believe that's where all the money is in the future. Is like sending like robotic things to asteroids, collecting minerals and the like.
That's very interesting. Let me ask you this: speaking of money, do you support putting the SPLOST referendum back on the ballot in the November 2020 election?
I would prefer to wait afterward, where whoever's elected can have more input in it. But yes, I would support that. But I would more, instead of take it or leave it on the whole thing, I think it should be broke down. The first question should be take it or leave it, but then each project be left up to the individual voter to support. Let's say, for instance, you mentioned development or industry. If you want to put some money there for the development authority, either one or both of them, you could put that on the ballot and let the public decide yes or no on that. And whatever money's left over at the end of all these projects, if they all pass, then they get their money. The ones that get turned down by all the voters, then all that money would flow back into transportation projects.
Got it. That's a definitely good way to look at it. And speaking of transportation, and we want to talk about that's a community issue. Let me ask you this: Do you think that's the single most important issue, or what is the single most important issue in the community, you believe?
Right now, well, I mean, this is Ware County Commission that I'm running for, but I mean, the city is inside the county. So I would say the two most important issues is right now we're having, I wouldn't say a train problem, because I mean, that's commerce and we have to have trains to run the whole country, but we do need overpasses in several areas. And another issue is doing something to increase the population in the city of Waycross. Because if the city doesn't prosper, we're going nowhere.
Gotcha. Now, and anyone that's watching, if you have questions, please make sure you drop your questions in. We will make sure we get those comments out, or try to get them in here as they come up. If you have questions or things you would like to say or express, please make sure you drop those in here. Now, you said that trains help with the commerce, but you're saying that you would like to see an increase in population in the city of Waycross. You think that would help our community? Do you think that, all right, well, with that being said, what will you do to make sure that there is more of a police presence in our neighborhoods, or what can we do to, or what will you do to help ensure safety?
Well, the police department falls under the Waycross City Commission, so a lot of those decisions will be made for them, not the Ware County Commission.
I understand, but in reference to the sheriff's office falls or is a part of the county. So does the sheriff office in Ware County police, or do they strictly do jail and courtroom security?
Yeah, okay. I don't know everything now the sheriff's department does, but they do a lot more than people think. I mean, they do patrol. I mean, they have to haul patients to, home hospitals, certain hospitals. I'm not going to go into a great deal on that, but they have to haul them if there's a need, maybe to Savannah. They also have to pick up and transfer inmates back into the places. They have to serve warrants. I mean, there's a lot of things the sheriff department does that people aren't aware of. But I would want to ensure that the sheriff department has all the resources that they need to do the job efficiently and to protect us all.
Gotcha. And with that, what do you think is the best way for us to stabilize the core residential neighborhoods of Waycross-Ware County or Ware County? What do you think will be helpful in that from a commission standpoint?
What do you mean by stabilize?
Well, I mean, stabilize the core. What will help us ensure that we have great communities? Make sure that we have great people moving in. Make sure people want to move in. What can you do, or what will you do, or you think is something that from the commission side of things can be done?
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of litter myself. I mean, I was once young, and I'm guilty of tossing things out the window when I was younger. But I think everyone should take a little more pride in the area that they live in. If you see a piece of trash side the road or whatever, even if you didn't throw it down, try to teach everybody to pick it up anyway and clean it up. Have a little pride in where you live at. I mean, most people around here, they have a lot of good in their heart, and it shows. But the ones that don't, we have to find a way for them to find it.
With that being said, that's good. We have to find a way for them to find those things. And this question came in over the net. It says, in the midst of the pandemic, what have you done to help your community, or what has been done, or what do you think is being done from your point of view to help the community to have a positive impact during this coronavirus pandemic?
Me myself, I try to get people not to be afraid. I mean, I could fall and have a heart attack and die right here, or you could, anyone could. It's just not to be overly afraid of it. But if you are sick or elderly and have, like a bad immune system, I would suggest you avoid people as much as possible to try to get, a friend or a neighbor to get what you need from town, particularly if you're an older person living by yourself or something. But I've mostly just try to get people not to be afraid about it. I mean, I've not wore a mask yet, and truthfully, I've probably already had it because I was bad sick in February.
It's been around for a while, so I've seen a lot of people make those types of comments, and I think that overall, with the state reopening, what is your thoughts on reopening and the direction and the path forward in reference to the coronavirus?
I support reopening a lot of it. Like I said, there's a lot of fear, and I understand that. But I mean, our state, we don't run a lot of debt. We are a pay-as-you-go state, and if people don't get out and work, or we need a lot of sales tax revenue here to pay our bills, then we're going to be left with some choices of cutting taxes or cutting services. And I mean, nobody wants to see anybody get sick or pass away, but I mean, life is full of risk, but you have to weigh the risk versus reward in your own predicament.
Absolutely. That's a good, you have to pay attention. Even if you think it's okay to reopen, if you decide you want to go, it's up to you to go out or not. It's up to you to, if you want to go back to church or not, or wear a mask or not. Now some places are requiring, and this is one of those, I guess, constitutional type of questions. And I know that it's not legislative wise, but do you think that some of these stores or some of these businesses should, or do you think it's okay for them to require a mask for someone to wear a mask to come in? Or tell me your thoughts in reference to that.
A private business can pretty much tell you what you can or not do in their own business. So if they require you to mask to come in, that's their right to do so.
I really appreciate that answer. One more quick question, and then I think that will kind of wrap us up. I know that we have a time slot, but you are getting it done in reference to these questions. So let me ask you one last thing. What should we do as a chamber? You think in your mind, what should we do? And you too, and as a commissioner, if you were to win that seat, what would be something that you would think we should do to encourage others to relocate to our area?
Here.
Yes.
Well, I won't say there's nothing to do here, because there is. I mean, you can go to the movie theater, and I mean, and after a while that gets old. And if you like racing, you can go to Waycross Speedway out here. And I mean, they have a marvelous rec field here with all kind of things to do here. But I think, Ben, you mentioned the SPLOST thing a while ago, that I would like to see some things put back in neighborhoods where people wouldn't have to travel so far. Like I'm a big fan of putting some swimming pools back around all around the county. That would give people that already live here, they wouldn't have to leave to do that. And, you know, their friends or relatives could come visit. They could all, you know, go swimming. And, you know, maybe for birthday parties and stuff like that, you could have certain hours where the public couldn't use it. You could rent it out to kind of, you know, get some of your money back. And I also thought about, being no private entrepreneur wants to do it, to put it on the SPLOST vote to set a certain amount of funds to buy a few jet skis and ATVs, and let people rent those to use at the lake. And we have 2 ATV parks around here, and everybody can't afford $5,000 to $15,000 for a piece of machinery to play on. But I mean, they're really fun. And other places, you know, like you can go to Fernandina and rent jet skis. I think that would be something good to have here. If you give people several things to do that live here, then they might want to stay here, especially if we can get some industries that are science related. And also, I lost my train of thought there. People that, you know, may want to come visit. If, say, we had a telescope, they could do that at night, and then during the day they could play golf at one of our golf courses, or they could, you know, rent a jet ski at the lake, rent ATV, and ride around in the country. Just things along that nature.
I mean, that was an answer. I mean, you had that's a plan. That's a great idea. I think that getting these things, the more things that you have in the community, more people will want to visit. And once people visit, they want to stay. That's generally how people end up in cities. But
especially if they're treated well while they're here. I mean, a lot of people now that open the door when somebody's coming to go in the store. This is a very good habit for other people to take. Be polite. Yes, ma'am. No, ma'am. Yes, sir. No, sir.
Absolutely. Well, listen, I really, really appreciate you taking time out of your day today. I thank the chamber for putting this on, and we have several other candidates. So people who are watching, stick around. About 9:30, right before 9:30, you should see the next candidate coming up for this race. So please, if you're on, come back in. If we cut out for a moment, come back in. Any last things you want to say before you get out of here, Mr. Sears?
Sure. I'm more of a person that does research and kind of think things through than I am this off the cuff thing we're doing right now. I think people should know that if they hadn't already figured that out. That's pretty much it. And I appreciate the opportunity to come out here.
Well, thank you so much. Thank you. Like I said, thank you again for being here with us. We really appreciate it. We will be following up. There will be some follow up in reference to this. I think they may do something again later, closer to, or in the case that there is any type of change with the election, we will keep everyone updated. Thank you so much. Like I said, once again, at about 9:30, we will start the next candidate for the race. We start the next candidate about 9:30. We thank Mr. Sears for joining us. They are going to do some swapping around backstage to get the next candidate in for for the 9:30 time, that person will be give me one moment. I had it up here. Yes, Mr. Freddie Smith. Mr. Freddie Smith will be on at about 9:30. So if you take a moment, you can check back with us. Feel free to stay on here with us and watch. And as we get ready for Mr. Smith at about 9:30. Mr. Sears, you are off. If you can hear me backstage, you are off. You can go ahead and Patrick can go ahead and get the next person in if he likes to. Thank you so much for joining us. Everyone that's watching, please take a moment to share this. Thank you so much, Ms. Harris, for that wonderful comment. Yeah, thanks to the Chamber for providing this opportunity. Absolutely. Make sure you share this. Share the page for everyone that is watching. Share the Ware County Chamber of Commerce Facebook forum. Please take a moment to share it. Let everyone know that the candidates will be on. Our next candidate comes on at 9:30. That's going to be Freddie Smith. Freddie Smith comes on at 9:30. Please let if someone's wondering who's next, let them know that Mr. Smith will be on at 9:30. This is the Chamber of Commerce. This is the Chamber of Commerce candidate forum on Facebook. On Facebook Live, please make sure you share this, and we'll be right back in a moment. Good morning. We are getting ready to start the second guest we have this morning for our Waycross-Ware County Chamber of Commerce Facebook Live forum. This candidate is also a county commission chairman candidate. So that will start very shortly. I am working with Patrick backstage from the chamber as we prepare Mr. Smith, who will be our second guest this morning. Give us a few more moments to get set up. Thank you so much. Give us a few more moments. Good morning again. This is Mike at Just Media. We are prepared for Mr. Smith, who is currently backstage as we prepare for our second candidate for our Facebook forum, commission chair candidate. It is 9:30. Let me check and see how things are looking. Hold on one moment. Let me get this closed down as we prepare Mr. Smith backstage. I think he is up and ready. Let's get him in here. Good morning. Good morning, Mr. Smith. How are you doing this morning?
Well, I'm fine. Good morning. Welcome to Waycross in Ware County.
Yeah, listen, thank you so much. I appreciate that warm and enthusiastic welcome. I hope that you are doing well this morning. This is great that the chamber down there is doing something like this, because a lot of places have no clue who their candidates are going through the midst of this coronavirus. So I can appreciate them for thinking outside of the box and doing this for us. But enough. Listen, I want to get to know exactly who you are. So tell us who you are and why you decided to run for this position.
Well, of course, I'm Freddie Smith, and I was born and reared in Waycross in Ware County. My grandchildren is the 8th generation of my family in Ware County. So we have a long lineage here and heritage. I was away for a few years in my career and came back about 25 years ago to my home. And I've offered myself as candidate for chairman because I love Waycross and I love Ware County. And I would just like to give back to my home while I have the opportunity of doing it in leadership. And there's some things that I would really like to see accomplished, or at least get started. And I think we can get this done if I have the opportunity of being elected chairman of the Ware County Commission. So I'm looking forward to it.
Well, I appreciate you offering yourself up for the service. That alone, it says a lot. Just like I said to the last guy that was on, Mr. Sears, I said, thank you so much for offering yourself, because that in itself is a lot to do. So thank you so much. Now, you said 8. You are the 8th generation, or not you. Your grandchildren are the 8th generation. That's there. Your family has been in this county for 8 generations. So you have seen a lot of things come and go. You've lived through a lot of the different things that have taken place in Ware County. With that being said, you probably have a good look or thought in reference to what you would like to see done. What role does the commission play in the recruitment of industry to the area?
Well, the commission certainly has a large part in encouraging that to happen. We have a development authority that we appoint and we support. And of course, I would be very much a vital part of that, and encouraging them and helping them to go for new industry and working at keeping the industries that we have here. But we have committees set up, and we would encourage them and give them the opportunity of working with them and giving them the opportunity of fulfilling that which they've been asked to do.
Yeah, with that being said, and you made a comment about industries that are already here, because that's very important. Customer service starts on the inside. I say that a lot. And with that being the case, what do you propose we do to attract new industry and to keep the industry that we already have, or the businesses as well? Not just industry, but even some of those other businesses that are not the humongous things, but the smaller ones. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Well, my intent of the businesses that are here, I think communication with them from a county level government is important, to make sure that they've got what they need, to make sure that we've done what we've promised to do and them coming, and to give them all the encouragement we can give them from a government level and a personal level, to let them know that they've got a home and we're glad to have them here. To get new industry, of course, we have a person who stays on top of that, of businesses that are looking to relocate. And that would be a person that we would work with. And I've pledged as chairman that I would go if I need to go, to meet with them, to encourage them for Ware County and Waycross, and to be that ambassador if I need to go, to encourage them to come, because we want them to come. Waycross is probably one of the best located cities and counties for growth. We are between 2 main arteries in this country, Interstate 95 and Interstate 75 on the east and the west, and we can get to those within about an hour and 15 minutes. They can take you anywhere you want to go. So that's a real benefit. Our location, the landmass that we've got here that we could use to include new industry. So we got a lot to offer, and I want to see that we offer that to new industries.
Listen, what you said just then was very, very important, because people don't understand the importance of being a you said y'all are location wise, that is tremendous. And this being a Chamber of Commerce forum, that's part of what we need to discuss is business and understanding your thoughts. I mean, it's about the community, but also from a business side of it, because we have to know your plans moving forward if you're elected chairman. When I spoke to the mayor of Waycross recently, he made a comment similar to what you just said. You said about the location. He says Waycross is perfectly positioned, and that is a great thought process to have. Like you said, on both sides, you can get to where you need to get to. 75, 95. Right. You like you said, that your comment is a great Chamber comment, and I appreciate you saying that. And talking about industry, let's talk about money in reference to this, in reference to the direction we're going with this comment. Splost. Do you support putting Splost, the Splost referendum back on the ballot November 2020?
I do support that. And the reasons I support, there's several reasons that I support that. I don't like taxes. I'm very guarded about property tax that our people are paying and I'm paying. And if we don't have a T-Splosh to come in and help us in expanding our needs and paying for our needs, then we're back to the property tax issue. And I'm not interested in raising property tax for our budget. So Splosh gives us the opportunity to do that. It's not trying to overtax our people, but it's a tax that if you buy, you pay something. If you and our county benefits and city benefits from that greatly.
Absolutely.
I see no reason not to have it. Now, I know there's been complaints about an interest that these monies are set aside and not being spent and not being used, but they have to be used by what they've been designated for without some other direction. Sometimes it takes longer for some projects than it does for others. And so that money is sitting there waiting for the hoops to be gone through to get that project going. But it doesn't mean that project's not going to come, especially if I'm chairman, because if it's in that T-Splosh agenda and those dollars are identified for that project, we will honor that. And if we can't honor that, then I'll be going back to our people, because I want them to know that that Freddie Smith is there with his word.
Absolutely. Now that's very important. I like what you said, because you made a comment, and I think that a little explanation is good for this. You said that it's money that's taxed on things that you buy. So it's not just for people that live in our community. People that come into our community would have to participate in this Splosh as well. People that are passing through, and I think that a significant portion of Splosh money comes from people that are just passing through. Would you agree with that comment?
I would. Yeah. If you purchase, you pay a tax, a cent tax on one of them. If you don't purchase something, you don't pay a tax. And plus, this is added revenue for us to expand. If we don't have that, then the only income we have is property tax. And that becomes a very concerning area for me in our operating expense. I'm not interested in, I want to decrease it if at all possible.
Gotcha. Well, and speaking of that, and you're talking about property taxes, that's dealing with our neighborhoods. What do you think is the best way for us to stabilize the core residential neighborhoods in our county? Tell me some of the things that you would do to help us continue community growth as in the residential neighborhood areas, but also to stabilize so that we have a good, strong family unit.
Well, if I understand what you're asking, the residential areas, I think when someone buys into a residential area to rear their family, they've got to have assurance that that's going to remain a residential area as much as possible. For their children to be out riding. Yesterday, I was out on the street with my granddaughter riding the bike, and I was thinking about this. How wonderful it is that I could get out in the place where I live in the residential area and let my granddaughter ride a bike and me walk alongside with her and know that that we'd have that opportunity. I don't want our residential areas to live under threat from me, that there's always the possibility that that's going to be disrupted. I'd like for our residential areas to be attractive. I'd like for our people who buy into those residential areas to know that their zoning is well taken care of in the fact of their investment and their return and their appreciation of their value of their property. I think all of that factors in to be very important.
Yeah, I believe that is very important. But with that being said, what do you think is the single most important issue in our county and in our community?
Ware County infrastructure right now is a vital issue in Ware County. We've got a lot of traffic. We're glad to have that traffic, but we've got to accommodate that traffic. And the only way you can accommodate the traffic is to have roads that are worthy of travel on, and they can move about. So we've got to work at those who want to come to Waycross would have the infrastructure to get here. Not only those who want to come, but those who are already here have an opportunity to get to work. Our service, our sheriff department, our deputies can get to our people as quickly as possible, or our ambulances can get to our people as quickly as possible. We need to protect that, and that's got to be a big issue for us. And that brings me to say in the infrastructure, I know that we've got a train issue that is a real industry for Ware County and Waycross. My dad was a railroad man, and I've got a lot of friends who work for the railroad and who presently work for the railroad. And I want the railroad to remain here. But at the same time, we've got to see that our people are not held at abeyance, if you please, of trying to get to work or getting home with trains staying overtime at these crossings. That's a real issue. And my intent is to work with the railroad. I know it's a big elephant, but to work with the railroad in the crossing issue of how long they stay at the crossing so our people can move and get going.
I think that's going to be, I have seen that issue come up from time to time in questions. I've seen that issue been said here. And I've experienced it myself in passing through Waycross. How do you suppose we fix that? Is it going to be a leadership thing? Is it going to be a chamber issue? Is it going to be a community? I mean, what's going to help us fix that railroad issue then?
Well, as I said, the railroad is a vital industry here with us. Our city through the years, and me growing up here, I've seen our city grow around these tracks. And in time, it has created a transportation issue. But how it's to be addressed is, of course, out of relationship. I want to meet with the railroad. I want to meet with their administration. I want to build a relationship with them and help them to understand what the issues are that we're facing here. And I think they'll understand that. And I think that I'm expecting them to work with us. I think to deal with the railroad right now is going to have to be like from the chairman and from the commission and our city commission and mayor, who, by the way, is a friend of mine, the mayor, and I look forward to us working together. But I think there is going to have to be the starting point of resolving that.
And with that being said, this is a question that came up. You made a comment in reference to the city council and the mayor. How important is it that the county commission and the chairman and the city council and the mayor have those relationships and have those types of bonds to be able to do that? How important do you feel that that is?
It's 110%. That's how much of importance it is. We've got to work together, and I believe we will. That's my intent to accomplish. The more that we can work together, and I see no reason why we can't, and I don't expect us not to do anything other but to work together. That's going to help us to identify as a community, to attract industry. and growth and getting these projects completed. That's going to help tremendously. So my intent is to work with my friend who's the mayor. He and I have already been talking some together. And I've got friends on the city council as well as on the county commission. And I just look forward to us really blending our administrations together to get some great things accomplished.
That's going to be very important, because the importance of the relationships, when outside industry can see the relationship, they will want to foster and be a part of what they see as the growth that's coming. When people can work together, people don't mind coming in and being helpful to help grow a community. Go ahead. What are you about to say?
No. I'm just listening.
Oh, okay.
I'm listening to you. That's good. No, you're right. Division is never profitable, but togetherness gives a lot of strength and a lot of attractiveness to not only those local, but to those who want to be a part of it. And we owe that to those who want to come to Waycross. Matter of fact, we owe it to our people who are already here, that their leaders can work together to accomplish what needs to be accomplished.
Here's a question that came up. It says, asks if you favor combining the city and the county government. I think they're asking about consolidation. That may be a consolidation question. Are you in favor of that?
I know that there's a lot of interest in that. There's a lot of discussion in that. I would have to, and as I told my friends and those who questioned me about that, we would need to do some homework on that. We would need to have a profit and liability study and see where that would bring us. For me to just sit here and say that I'm for it with a blank, I would need to know how it's going to affect our people.
Well, listen, that's it. That's a very, that answer is exactly what I think should be the answer. I don't think that anyone should jump into the conversation of consolidation blindly. You would have to have a level of research done, a level of community input to understand how the community as a whole feels, not a particular subset of the community. And I think that's when I spoke to the mayor, he said that this is something that's past what I feel about it. He said, I'm a mayor. He said, I'm one person. He said, this is something that involves community interest. This involves what the numbers going to look like in the big scheme of things, where, because it's not a decision that's going to just last for a week. This is a decision that's going to move forward. So it has to be not necessarily move the community forward, but it's a decision that's going to determine where the community goes next. So it's not a one-day conversation. This is something that's going to take time. And tell me your thoughts in reference to what I just said.
Well, I agree with you on what you just said. One of the great issues that I have about the consolidation issue is that if we come to the place to where we look at it, I want to make sure that those that are employees of our city and of our county, I want to see that they're taken care of. I don't want anyone to be thrown under the bus because of it. But if we're going to grow and if we want to do well with our community, I do know that there are those who would like for us to look at it and study it. And that may come up one day, whether I'm chairman or come up in 5 or 6 years, I don't have any idea. But I have an idea it's going to be discussed and studied at some point or other in the future. Absolutely.
Real quick, Mr. Edwards said infrastructure is vital for our growth and stabilization relating to Waycross. He says comprehensive plans designed years ago. He said that there should be a true perimeter road. That's something similar to what you spoke about in reference to infrastructure. So definitely the conversation about infrastructure is there. One last question. I'm going to let you get out of here.
let me interject this, if I may, before
Yes.
Before you move on to another question.
Yes, sir.
Georgia, in consolidation of governments, Georgia has the highest consolidation of government of any state in the country. Now, I'm not saying that that's good or bad. I'm just saying that Georgia, that's the stats. And there's a reason that these governments have seen a need to consolidate to their benefit. And so I just want to put that in, that Georgia has experienced the highest rate of consolidation of any state in the country.
Right. Now, and with that, like you said, that they've done their research to determine those places that should do it. And some places have thought about doing it and have decided against it based on their research. So that's something that is a definitely a community issue that has to be discussed and researched.
Well, that's the reason I've said, for me to sit here and say that I'm for it, I can't do that until we've done our homework.
Right. Last thing I want to say, recently, the governor put in place for us to reopen the state, and following some guidelines, of course. Do you support reopening? Do you think we are in a place to reopen, move forward based on the coronavirus, and or what are your thoughts? If you were chairman already, what would you have said, or what would your plans have been?
Well, yes, I'm ready to reopen. I think that with precautions in place, everyone has to express personal responsibility for themselves and for their family. The government doesn't have a place of doing that this much. Family needs to be responsible for themselves. Business people need to be responsible for those who come into their business to buy, and to their workers. And the mask or staying 6 feet apart, whatever, they need to exercise that within themselves. Also, we deal with some risk every day in our life, and we've learned to cope with that. And so I'm ready for Ware County and Waycross. I'm ready for us to exercise caution. I'm ready for us to keep in place what needs to be according to the state guidelines. But yes, I'm ready for us to move forward.
Listen, I appreciate that. So tell me again, give us in closing who you are, how people can find you, and any last words you have for this forum.
Well, I'm on, and I thank you for the opportunity to visit with you. I thank you for that, and appreciate that. I'm on Facebook, and so they can private message me if they'd like, and I'll get back with them. And if they want my phone number, then that's a good way. Probably the best way for me to share my phone number with them is through private message through Facebook. I'm excited about the opportunities that Waycross and Ware County has. I sense an excitement in my own life about it. I can tell that others are sensing that as well. And they really want something to really happen that's big and good for Ware County and Waycross. And that's a real vision for me. And I'm excited about it. I'm ready to go. And I'm asking folks to give me their support. They know me. And I hope that they'll go and vote, first of all, and then vote for Freddie Smith for chairman of the county commission.
Well, listen, Mr. Smith, I thank you so much for joining us today. I appreciate it. Thank you for taking a moment, and thank you for even deciding to put your name on the ballot. That says a lot about you. So we're going to get ready for the next person. Thank you again, Mr. Smith. Mr. Smith, thank you for joining us. Thank you, everyone that's watching. If you don't mind, please make sure you share this link. Mr. Smith is off. He's backstage now. He's off. He has given you information to follow him on Facebook. Reach out to him if you have any questions that did not make it on here. Thank you so much. I see all the questions and comments that are coming up. We try to get them up as we can, or as they come across my feed. So if some of them don't get up, I do apologize. Blame that on me. They come across my feed. I think sometimes a little late, depending on what they say. There's a filtering that goes through. So it happens and comes across my feed a little late. I appreciate. My name is Mike Myers. I am with Just Media Network. You can tune in to our podcast daily. You can also tune in all day long. We have different news and articles and things that come up on our page, Just Media Network, on Facebook. I am currently hosting this town hall. We are getting ready for the next person to come in at 10. I think it's supposed to be Mr. 3, if I'm not positive. Yet I am waiting on anyway, everything happens backstage. I'm going to work with Patrick to get some things worked out for our 10 o'clock. Please stick around. Make sure you share this. We will actually go off the air at 10. At about 10:15 or 10:20 to come back on for Commission 4 candidates, so people can have an opportunity to share this without it being so long. Take a moment to share this as we prepare for our 10:30. As we prepare for 10:30, Ware County Commission District 4. We will have some moments in between, but make sure you share this. Let people know that we are on, we are live, and we are preparing for our next, for who's next on our Waycross-Ware County Chamber of Commerce Facebook Live forum. As we prepare backstage, give me a moment or two to get going. I think I see Patrick backstage. Patrick, if you can hear me, Patrick, can you hear me backstage? You can't. Give me. That's where I was gonna say. Give me a thumbs up. Thank you so much. Let me. Yep. Be back at 10. Be back in a moment. Hold on here. Let me get Patrick in here for a second. Hey, Patrick.
Hey.
Thank you for joining us again. Real quick, at 10 o'clock we have Mr. Thrift.
Mr. Thrift actually sent word this morning. He cannot make it this morning. So
Okay.
I just want to come and let people know that that's why he's not here. He something came up, I guess, and he won't be able to make it.
Got you. So what we'll do, this kind of works out good. So what we will do is we will actually close this thread and open a new thread at about 10:15. If you don't mind, definitely coming back on with us at 10:15 to get the second part is going.
Sure.
We will kind of open up like we did the last time, and get things real quick though. While I have you on here, I think it's so important. Now, a few comments came out in reference to infrastructure, in reference to the splost, but I want people to understand, and I'm not asking from a political side of things your look at this, but from a I guess a lobbyist of sorts. You somewhat have to banner these relationships with the elected officials. How important is it for the chamber to do these types of things, to have these types of forums, to be able to understand what people are saying and to build those relationships? Let people understand exactly what it is that you do and why it's so important.
It's very important. The chamber has to have those relationships with whoever, 2021, we'll have a new chairman for Ware County. And it's important for the chamber to have a relationship with that person. Our goal is to have a relationship with that person, not only just that person, but all the persons going into office, even before they get into office. So as things start to happen, whether it's new industry looking at coming into town, and they contact the chamber for various information, that we can share that with the commission and the mayor and the chairman, or if an existing business and industry have some issues going on, or they're trying to expand, or just some concerns, that we have a close relationship with those local government entities, so we can share that information to them. And then also too, that we can help advocate on the state level. A lot of things need to get done in Waycross-Ware County, and we all as a community need to work together regardless of political lines or political affiliation, but all work together for the betterment of the community. And that's what we want to do here at the chamber.
And that's very, very important, because the chamber is somewhat of the house of information. When people are coming in, industry are considering coming to the community. Businesses are considering opening. They want to know that their relationships are there with the chamber, with them being able to get things that they want to get across, information they want to get across, agenda items that they want to understand or know more about. The chamber is that place. The chamber is that workforce that helps them get information onto the agenda or get understanding of information, and that's part of what y'all do, and getting in and I don't think people understand the importance of the chamber. But they can. How can they find information about the chamber one last time before we get out of here? And who can they contact if they're interested in becoming a member?
They can definitely go to our chamber website. Also, we have a Facebook page. We have an Instagram. We're on all the social media platforms. They can call the office and talk to our membership manager, Paige Taylor, and she can, bring their concerns to the board. Then that way the board can make a decision on how the chamber should engage the local officials, and we can work to get those things together. So definitely those three avenues: social media, website, or just come into the office or contacting Paige via telephone.
Absolutely. Now, if you're watching us right now, that means that you are already on the website. The chamber's phone number is attached. Make sure you take a moment to locate that. Feel free to contact them. That they are looking for members. They have information on Facebook, on their website. They do a great job of getting information out and doing things like this, just to make sure that the community knows exactly what's going on. So with that being said, we're going to get out of here. Thank everybody for joining us for the first part. Come back at about 10:15 and we will have, well, a little closer to 10:30. We will have District 4 candidates up, Steve Bernard and Jimmy Carter, 10:30 for Steve and 11 o'clock for Jimmy Carter. Thank you so much for joining us. Like I said, come back and please share this link and share the next one as we get ready for our next session. Thank you.